Now, let me get to another sports media headline that involves yours truly. Many of you know I've been at ESPN and Disney for nearly 20 years. We've had a good relationship, and I've said on many occasions that I will never speak on my contract negotiations because only a fool talks about his negotiations while they're ongoing. I'm not going to start here. However, I do want to acknowledge former NBA player and podcaster Steven Jackson from All the Smoke, who recently made comments about my ongoing discussions with ESPN. I want to read to y'all what he said. Check this out. Stephen A. and I, we disagree on a lot of things, but the respect still remains. And I congratulate him on being able to get that money. Go get that money, bro. I'm never being a hater. Get that money. If anybody deserves it from the way he's self-made, you know Stephen A. deserves it. You ain't got to agree with everything he says to respect him and congratulate him on the success he's had all these years. End quote. Now let me say this. I appreciate Stephen Jackson saying that. I'm not going to front. I've been pretty pissed at him for a few months. And I've been waiting to see him one-on-one, talk to him man-to-man. Because he and I haven't spoken since he was on his podcast telling his partner, Matt Barnes, he don't fuck with me because he called me a snitch for calling the league office to ask why Russell Westbrook was not suspended. To reiterate that point and revisit it for a second, Russell Westbrook was excessively physical with Luka Doncic in the playoffs. Ultimately, a little scuffle ensued. Russell Westbrook was ejected from the game. I was on national TV, and I made it very, very clear I thought Russell Westbrook should be suspended. I said, had that been Draymond Green, they would have suspended him. Why not suspend Russell Westbrook? At that time, before the next game, NBA Countdown was the pregame show. So I was asked by my superiors at ESPN to call the league office to find out why Russell Westbrook, who had been ejected from that game, wasn't suspended for the next game. And the league gave me the explanation. They didn't suspend him because there wasn't history there, number one. Number two, he left the court in a peaceful fashion, and there was nothing that ensued thereafter. And number three, it was the playoffs. It wasn't a regular season game. While admitting to me, had it been Draymond Green, it might have been a different story. So they gave the explanation, and I went on the air, and I revealed to the audience I called the league office, and that was the explanation. And then Gilly from Wallow and Gilly's podcast went off on social media about me covering, calling the league office. And Matt Barnes and Stephen Jackson ultimately said, I don't agree with Stephen A. on that, et cetera, et cetera. The difference is that Matt Barnes called me up, ultimately came on the show to discuss it with me, and Stephen Jackson didn't respond to my invite for him to do the same. Wallow and Gilly, with Gillies, all I said is this. You talk about the NBA, I cover it. It was my job to call the league office. I didn't call the league office to get Russell Westbrook suspended. I'd already said if it were me, I would have suspended them. What I called was to find out their rationale behind not suspending him when they would have suspended Draymond Green. That is all. It's called doing my job. For that, Stephen Jackson labeled me a snitch without knowing all the facts. Never apologized for it or anything like that. And this is a brother that I go back with for years, decades actually. And I didn't appreciate that. First of all, in our community, we know what being a snitch connotates. That's not some shit you say. And I didn't appreciate that at all. Secondly, especially from somebody that I'm pretty damn cool with. But in the end, I know how to differentiate my issue with him over an incident and my issue with him over character. See, I had a problem with Stephen Jackson not recognizing and remembering where my character stands. There's a lot of shit that I don't say. And anybody that knows me knows I ain't no damn snitch. I don't roll like that. And so to associate that word with me was highly offensive. And we haven't spoken since. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But having said all of that, I really appreciate him coming out and saying what he said. It meant a lot to me. And I thank him for it, really sincerely. Because I want people to understand, no matter what the deal is, no matter what money it entails, it was earned, not given. Whenever we reach an agreement, which we have not yet, it will be earned. Ain't nobody giving me anything. I've earned it. And if I earn it, and I show you how this snot-nosed kid from Hollis, Queens, from the streets of Hollis, Queens, New York, ultimately ascends in the business, not as a rap artist, not as an actor or an actress, not as a baller, whether it's football or basketball or something else, but through journalism. And I do that with the advent of podcasts and YouTube shows and channels and all of this other stuff. If I could do it, imagine what doors it'll open for the rest of us. That's where I'm coming from with it. And I can't speak on it, and I'm not going to speak on it. But let me assure you of something. While there is an agreement, you have no idea what the deal is. You have no idea what it does entail. And you have no idea about how what I'm aiming to do is going to rock the foundation of this industry. I'm after big, big, big things. And I can't speak on it until it's done. Only a fool would speak on it prematurely. But I'm coming. And I appreciate all the support from the Steven Jacksons. My man Matt Barnes, can't say enough about that. I love that brother. Can't say enough about him and his support of me. Cam Newton, how he supported Shannon Sharp, Ryan Clark, Swagoo and all them, Kendrick Perkins. List goes on and on and on. I'll speak on it when it's time. But I see everything. And to those who have supported me, all I'm going to say is I will never forget. I will never forget. That's all I'm going to say about that for now.